I stare at social media every day, all the time, and have for the past 14 years. Yes, I'm aware that's very unhealthy. And my husband is totally like on me about that. But one of the things that's really easy for me to forget about is how much everyone doesn't do this for a job. Everybody like has a life and a job and things that they're doing that is not social media dependent, because I'm up in these social media streets all the time because I'm studying and learning and making sure client work gets done and my stuff gets done. And it's all of these things. So I think it's really easy for people to do things wrong and like not realize that they're doing things wrong. So I wanted to share what I see as like fails, the social media fails I see over and over again. And I want to also pair them with like things you should do instead. So let's dive into this. By the way, my name is Desiree, here to make social media simple for you, period. End of sentence. That's all we're going to do. So my first fail I see a lot is when people are not engaging. Like people forget that social media is social. It's in the name. And we forget this all the time. It's very easy to do this because we're so busy churning and burning out content, scheduling, making sure it's work. Maybe it's part of a strategy. Maybe sure it's not. All of the things. We're always doing 10,000 things that we're forgetting the important part, which is, hey, person I'm actually trying to talk to, let's have a conversation. Oh, you commented? Let me like that and comment back. Let me go find other conversations to be a part of. My girl Molly Mahoney is the queen of like engagement. She's all about going to Facebook, going to Instagram, going to the TikTok and be your brand on other people's content. Go comment on people that you like, related content, local area stuff, and just being present and a part of it, because then people come back and be like, who's this person all over my post commenting and showing me love? I want to do that back. And oh, they do this. I totally need that service too, right? So we need to be engaging. So make sure that we are spending time answering our comments, liking comments, making sure responding to our DMs, making sure that we're also following up in emails if those things are happening over there. And of course, spending time as ourselves on other people's content to engage and connect there so that we can be a social person and build a two-way conversation rather than just doing it one way. Now, the thing about social media that is so important to remember is it's a place for us to educate our audience so that ultimately they buy from us. But that does not mean it's a gigantic billboard or airplane in the sky with like writing letters. It's like, buy from me. We're not here for that. We are here to engage and educate and then also like slide in on the sly that, oh yeah, if you need help, that's what I'm here to do, right? We gotta find that balance. Like you can't just be like, I'm a realtor. I have this home for sale. Buy it from me. Or send it to people who need a home. That's not going to work. But you can, however, talk about that same home in this way. Like, oh my gosh, craziest room I've ever seen in a house. Or this is the coolest space. Oh, I love this feature that we see in houses. Let me show you what this is. This house is going on the market this Friday. And it has this really cool feature I really want to show to you. Like that is how you take a salesy something and turn it into an engaging, relevant, cool experience for somebody. You can't always talk about it. So for example, I recently launched my digital products that are available to help simplify social media for you. And when I was talking about it on social, I was like, yo, I spent hours and hours literally on Instagram, tracking trends, looking up what was happening, and just trying to like make a collection of content that can simplify social media for you. Was this a fantastic use of my time? Yes. Is this a terrible use of your time? Yes. Right? So it's like connecting with people with the problems that they have. Like social media is a lot of work. Social media is hard. What are you supposed to do all the time? And then me being over here like, I did this thing, and you can totally go pick it up at your copy here. By the way, link that down in the description below. You should totally check it out because it's super worth it. It's going to simplify your social media life, hence what we're here to do. So when we're talking about sales, really kind of think through what experience and problem can I solve in my content, and then slide in that like I can help them with that, or they can pick up something for me or whatever that may be. Just don't say buy because it's super tacky. And we're not here for that. Now, as a multi-passionate entrepreneur, it's very easy to come across as all over the place. There are lots of things that like I have going on in my life, but I always kind of come back to my core principles of who I am. I'm a creator, I am an entrepreneur, and I also am a mom, wife, domestic goddess person, right? So I really make sure my content sticks into these like specific pillars. When I post something way out of left field related to that, it doesn't get as much traction because people are like, that is not what you do. Don't do that, Des. Like, that's not for you. So the fail in this is being all over the place. If you don't know who you are, what you're about, what problems you solve, who you serve, it's going to hurt you. Like, there is the saying, jack of all trades, master of none. Yes, I know it's a whole thing, but like, if you are doing too many things, it's hard for people to trust you because they don't know like how to identify or associate you. When it comes to me, people know Des is a mom, Des is a nerd, Des is a military spouse, Des is a social media marketer, Desiree is a creator, Desiree owns a business, Desiree lives in Michigan. Like, these are kind of like pillars of things that you can know about me that are very public and on my social media. You are not, however, going to see me talking about like what's happening in my local community from a school board perspective. You're not going to hear me talking about my personal feelings on public policy and things like that because my business brand has already been curated into this specific message and I stay on track for that. So it is a gigantic fail for you if you are all over the map doing 10,000 things. Really narrow in on the problems you solve and the people you serve so you can talk to them effectively and people know what you are an expert in. Now, back in the day, when I started the social media game, it was totally the greatest, smartest, most engaging content to do happy holiday posts. You know, it would be like, Happy Christmas, Merry Halloween, all of the things. But now, if you're doing that, you are sorely failing. Like, it's just a big no, hard pass, don't do this thing. If you are going to celebrate something, if like you as a, first of all, it needs to be something that you as a company, as a culture celebrate first and foremost. So like, if, for example, I'm recording this on President's Day. This is not something that I celebrate. My kids have it off from school. I'm just praying that they don't come in through that door that's right over there because they need me for something. So it's kind of one of those things, like if I have like a favorite president or like a mission that I have is related to it, or who I am is because I came to America and it's because of what this president did or whatever, like that's a story you can tell that's attached to a holiday and then you can celebrate in that way. So happy President's Day, everybody, right? So really think through like, what are the holidays that you love to celebrate, or even just like the fun days of the week that you like to celebrate, like Cinco de Mayo, Bring Your Dog to Work Day, National Hot Dog Day. Like if these are things you love that are like an intricate part of your company culture or your personal life, do it. But tell a story. Do not just post Happy Hot Dog Day and leave it at that. Like that is not going to get anyone anywhere. So by the way, if you want a good happy holiday, like I live in Michigan, we have the Coney dog here and it's a whole vibe. It's a whole culture. It's a whole delicious masterpiece. So if I was to celebrate that, I would totally go to my favorite spot here in the town that I live in. And I would be like, we're celebrating this right this way. That's a story. That's an experience I'm sharing. And that is a way to make holidays engaging for you. Make it that way. Don't fail at this. One of the things that is vital to your success on the Instas, the TikToks, the Facebooks, the YouTubes, the pinning, all of the places, is you need to be playing the media game that the platform wants. The biggest mistake I see in this is when it comes to links. If you just post a link with a little context or description, all of the platforms are going to tank that down into the pit. You can't be playing the share and spam game, which is essentially what that kind of is. Even when you're posting text, if you're not on Facebook, if you're not doing like the colored background or being really long, it's not gonna work for you as well as you might like it to, okay? So make sure you're playing the media game that all of the platforms have. And every platform has everyone's. TikTok is obviously short form videos. And they also have their new scrolling photo audio situation going on. And they have stories, Instagram, stories, reels, photos now. It's a big deal. Let's have that. Facebook, it's definitely photos and then the carousel photos. So you can have lots of photos. And if you want to share a link, you can put it down in that comment. LinkedIn, share a photo or a video and then put a link to something on that media source. It's going to like boost it up super, super high. But you have to play the media game. If you are not, this is a gigantic fail on your side because you're not playing the game the platforms want you to do natively to what works best for that. So play that media game or this is going to be a gigantic fail for you. One of the things that's really easy to forget about when it comes to the internet is that it's human beings that are there. We live in an era of keyboard tough guys and forgetting that there's some actual human being on the internet. And that's why cyberbullying is so big. That's why there's so many problems. Why everyone like has lost a lot of their like ability to be people, I think right now. And it's because of this gigantic thing. Like we are failing to remember that we are humans on this platform. We are human beings that are engaging, interacting. And before you come in with your chatbot, baloney, for the most part, we are people, right? When I am on social media, I am being Desiree and myself and I want to help you with your problems. I want to be there for you. I want to support support you. I want to lift you up and hold you if you need it, right? Whether it's virtually or in person. We are humans. And if you are not being a human, even when you're acting as your brand on social media, you are definitely failing at this thing called social. The point of social media is to socialize and interact and be human and connect on a person, human level. Nothing makes me more mad than right now culturally how we have like forgotten to be people and that people need people. Start with that social presence, be a person, connect, be vulnerable, be real, be strategic, but be a person. If you are not a person on these platforms, you are going to fail every time. Now, bad timing is just a massive fail in general. And bad timing kind of comes into a lot of things. Bad timing might actually be a 100% accident. So for example, when we had the January 6th riots on the Capitol, one of the things across the board that we did at the agency is we stopped all content posting and we went to the ad companies we work with. We were like, stop running ads. Why? Because it's bad timing to be posting marketing messages and things when there is a literal crisis that is happening nationwide that people are dealing with. And that message will get lost in that situation. Another bad timing example is when you are too late on a trend. Like, ooh, I really want to do the duck one. Dun, 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 dun. Wiggle your butt. Like it's a whole thing on the internet right now when I recorded this. It's too late to do that. Okay, that trend has passed. And so if you try to do it now, it's kind of like too late to, you're a little late to the game, old lady. Like that's kind of how that comes across. So bad timing can also be when it comes to like trends and doing something too late. We also have bad time with inappropriate content. You always want to make sure that you have an eye on what's going on in the world and the pulse of things. So if something is happening around like women's rights, or there's this issue in Congress, or there's just something culturally happening, even if it's in a local situation, you really want to make sure that what you're posting isn't going to conflict with that, and that can either support it and not contradict it and not be considered insensitive. So it's really important to make sure that your timing is being taken into account when it comes to, because timing is a massive fail if you're not addressing it, which is why having a social media manager is so important, because they're going to be able to keep track of that for you. And you don't want to bottleneck things by like trying to overly approve things and stuff like that. So really just find a sweet spot for how you can stay appropriate and stay trendy while also not being a gigantic red flag about like what's happening in the world. Now, to piggyback off of sort of this bad timing thing is if you don't have a strategy, why in the hell are you even on social media? Not having a strategy is like you starting a business and not having a product or service to offer. One of my favorite things that my husband exposed me to is the Underpants Gnomes from South Park. They have this whole hilarious business model. It's like, number one, steal all the socks from the dryer. Step number two, step number three, profit, right? If you don't have number two, which is the strategy and purpose for this, like you are not gonna get far at all. So you really need to make sure that you have a built out strategy of what you should be doing on social media. Now, if you want to know how to do that, watch this video that I have for you right here. It's going to break down how you do that with vertical video.